Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a little while. The other week, I posted a quick poll on Twitter to see what my audience would like my next video to be about. I finally bit the bullet and bought all the expensive MH2 cards that see play in Delver, and I am ready to, test in that space. So Jeskai won out by a little bit. So that is what we are going to be playing today. It's going to be Jeskai with my take on it, a few little pet cards, pet decisions that I'll go over quickly. So there's been a few different versions of Jeskai running around. There's versions with Dragon's Rage Channeler. There's versions with Urza Saga and Stifle. I think DRC is a very powerful card. I don't think that that's really up for debate. And one interaction that I was kind of interested in is its synergy with the card Predict, because obviously if you are predicting yourself, you get to look at the top card of your library with Dragon's Rage Channeler, and then you just name that card. So I wanted to kind of maximize that sort of thing. And also I wanted to play a couple copies of Portent because it makes Ragavan a little bit better when you can look at the cards on your opponent's library and then put the one that you want to take from it. I don't know how often that will come up this set, but it's something I at least wanted to try out. Obviously, Portent has its downsides. It's a kind of a slow card, not super high in power level, but it has some good synergies. It also has some synergies with Predict because, it's just an extra cantrip that you're looking at the top card of your library for. I am playing one of Counterbalance and one of Teferi as kind of just some flex slots that can make your deck a little bit harder to deal with. You have so many ones in your deck that it's fairly likely to blind flip a 1-mana spell with Counterbalance in play. And sometimes just getting one blind flip is all you need to snowball with a card like Ragavan or DRC or Murktide. This card specifically closes the door just so fast that it can be hard to take that, even if it's just a 1-for-1 with the Counterbalance. Just the fact that you're getting the tempo is huge. I really like Counterbalance because it's kind of a card advantage card because over time you can counter multiple spells, but it's also kind of a tempo card, where even if you don't counter a spell, sometimes you lock out the opponent from doing what they wanted to on their turn. Say they cast a 2-mana spell and they see a 1 on top. Well, now all the 1-mana spells that they wanted to cast for the turn they can no longer. So trying it out as one of Teferi is also just a solid card, stopping force, making endurance a lot worse. I think one of the main reasons to go into white instead of just straight blue-red is because it gives you a clean answer to endurance with Swords to Plowshares, turning that 2-for-1 into a 1-for-1. And it's also just can be a nice answer to Uro as well, permanently dealing with it. And then Prismatic Ending is also obviously a very strong card. Sideboard, nothing too much to talk about. A couple Surgicals, one extra Prismatic, one Court and one Narset for the control matchup. Same with Teferi. I think Teferi can also be pretty good in the mirror, bouncing Murktide, stuff like that. And then one Abrade and one Null Rod for the artifact decks. And then one Dress Down for all the Urza Saga matchups and things like elves or death and taxes, things like that. So this is what we're going to be running with today, and I will see you for the matches. All right, we are here for round 1 on the play, exactly where you want to be. Pretty easy keep. One Channeler. If it dies, I can find another threat with the Brainstorms. Let's see what our opponent's working with. Bloodstained Mire. It makes me think that they are a likely combo deck of sorts. I'm gonna put this into the graveyard just because I have Expressive as card advantage already. And I'm just digging for Force of Will. Although those are some pretty good pickups. So I'm gonna put back this, and then I'm gonna put back the Wasteland. I think if I have to fetch to Brainstorm of Swords, is like the card I'm least likely to want. So yeah. And then if I'm thinking that they're like a combo deck, obviously Karakas is a really important card to draw. They went to Teferi. Okay, so they're targeting themselves. Awkward. Okay. There's no like. Okay. So that's fine. So it's very unclear if I'm supposed to Swords the Gristlebrand or Brainstorm to try and find Force or Daze. Yeah, so I think because they can find Gristlebrand plus Unmask or Petal Ritual Entomb. Like either or means that it's slightly better to cast Brainstorm. Okay. I guess I don't want the Volk. I'm actually gonna leave up Karakas and Swords. Because this way they don't gain extra life. Yeah. So now this turns off reanimation currently. Obviously they have the children. So it's possible that that's fine. Yeah, that took a really long time to figure out the optimal line, but you know, I'm glad we came to it and were able to make the right decisions. It's really nice that they look at the hand. Okay. It's really nice for us that they can't both oh yes. No. Yeah, so right now they are they have to bring out the children. Okay. Yep. The ritual. Well, I'm not sure why they cast both rituals. They know my hand, right? They can only exhume one thing. There's only one creature in the yard, right? Oh, maybe they're like gonna double exhume the children just to gain a shit ton of life. That's like not even terrible. Yeah, I actually don't even mind that. I kind of like the line. The issue is now they need to find a reanimation spell. Oh, I guess they don't. Well, they do, but they don't. If that makes sense. They need to find a reanimation spell, obviously. I'm gonna cast the Expressive just as like a potential way to get Delirium while also leading up a mana. Play land for turn already, so there's the force. Doesn't matter. And I guess the question becomes, am I supposed to force the Faithless Looting? I think the answer is yes, just because they can't currently flash it back. And obviously, like, they have just like all these bad cards that they want to get rid of. So yeah, I'll force this. Like, kind of sucks, but you know, whatever. I have to leave this on top. If they drew a reanimation spell, they did. So, yeah, it's gonna happen. But this lets me cast a 7/7. Which will potentially pressure their life total. Start by getting rid of all the instants. Or sorry, an 8/8, so it's even bigger than Gristlebrand. Obviously, their goal is to just draw their library and win this turn, but I guess I'm supposed to do this now. So I've likely lost because they just get to bring back the children. But they have played their land for turn, but they still have a bunch of Dark Rituals left in the deck, which means they're in their hand pretty much. Well, they only have 2 left in the deck. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, I can just F6. Yeah, they have a lot of fast mana. They play Petals, they play Mox, they play Dark Ritual. So I think it's just pretty trivial for them to reanimate the children and, you know, exhume the Gristlebrand. And then just tendrils. Well, I think we played the best we could. Their hand was just quite strong. So Surgical obviously comes in. Narset comes in. Dress Down I'm debating, and then Teferi I'm debating. These cards suck. I trim 1 swords. Bauble's kind of nice because it can break the Chancellor Bauble. Kind of got 2 cards basically. I think I probably don't need Teferi. Yeah, I think I don't need it. And then maybe I trim 1 Dragon's Rage. It's either Dragon's Rage or a land. It's probably a land, right? It's definitely a land. I would just get rid of 1 Plateau? Question mark? Question. Oh, probably Plateau. They come back to bite me. All right, we're gonna run it like this. I'm leaving in 3 swords just because sometimes their goal is to play Chancellor. Not their goal, but like sometimes it's the best they can do. And then it pairs nicely with Dress Down. This hand's quite good. I wish this was my hand for the game 3 on the draw. They do have a Chancellor, which we could beat with Force plus Surgical. Just insanely unfortunate, really, that our hand is so good. Because by the laws of magic, that means that our next hand will be less good. I'm probably still Wastelanding. I think they're just they're likely gonna imprint the Chancellor. And them not having black mana is definitely good for us. I only have red mana now. Dang. Well, I'm still gonna stick with my plan. And there's no reason to play the Surgical until they discard me or try to bring back. I'll Portent myself. Second Force Will is nice, so is Murktide. I probably want to draw the Force and then the Ponder, just because I can't quite cast Murktide yet. Once we start fighting a fight, I think you're going to be casting the Ponder. And either way, I can Ponder into Murktide. I guess I'll just draw this, not dash it. And then cast the Murktide next turn. We have Forest, Daze, Surgical, Swords. So I'm liking. That's fine. I'm liking our chances here. So I'm gonna Surgical. It looks like they're going for, that's fine. Gonna force the Exhume. I want to see their whole deck, so I'm taking a line that's slightly worse in order to better see the deck. See, because now I know they play Xantid Swarm. But I still have the 3 swords already, so I think that's enough. The 2 Assassin's Trophies. I only have 2 Chancellor, but I imagine the other 2 come back in when you're on the play. No Grief. Yeah, pretty straightforward, you know. Nothing too much to worry about here. Obviously, I'm going to get rid of this. And then now Murktide will just be bigger than Iona anyway. Right, this is 7/7. Chosen color is red. Very interesting choice. I'll swords this just so that I can attack with my rag. Yeah. And also because the game's over. Okay, so hand was perfect. This is a card I'm considering. Maybe over Murktide or Dragon's Rage. It's a blue card. Obviously, Dragon's Rage is like nice because it scries to more interaction. But on the draw, that could be a little slow. I'm gonna do that. This can bounce an Iona, or like if I just super duper need to, can bounce like a Chrome Mox or you know whatever. You get whatever you get it. You get it. I think this is what we're doing. All right. I actually don't think we're favored to win. I have to keep this though. If they have turn 1 with Chancellor, like it's fine. Or plus discard. No. It's fine. The Daze is hopefully that does enough. They did keep 7, unfortunately. Like, they're trading consistency for power with their deck, obviously. So they're not going to keep 7 all the time, but when they do, it's more likely to work.
Like when they keep their 7, the power level is much higher. Obviously, I have to Daze this. They didn't know about that. That's a good one to have exiled. Holy shit. I think I just want to use the treasure to brainstorm. So I can shuffle away any bad cards. Obviously, there's no point in playing this. I mean, I guess it's a clock, but like, not really a clock. Okay, so put back the land. 2 lands, 1 land. I cut the plateau. Like basically, I'm playing Dragon's Rage, Bauble to Scry. I guess definitely 1 land's going back. Maybe it's the Murktide Regent. Because I'm scrying any land into the bottom. So then I have a random draw and then a random draw for turn. And if one of them, like if they put Gristlebrand in play, I need to be able to cast the Teferi. Right, I'm gonna get rid of these. I'm thinking way too long anyway. Oh, and that was, yeah, that was also not great. Yeah, it's rough. Well, I mean, can't do anything about it. The last card's animated as well. Gotta remember to post combat do this. Post combat cast the Ponder. Otherwise, the Dragon's Rage has to attack. So I think the surgical is fine. Shuffle your library, no. And then I'm gonna Portent. Close up in that. It's like kind of exactly what I'm looking for. Now, even if they have discard for I'm not gonna block. And even if they have discard for Teferi, I can still Swords of Gristlebrand. Suppose I could be dead here. Also possible. Like if they just find the natural tendrils. Okay. I'm actually surprised I took the Daze there. But I mean, like, I'm likely dead. Unless this is like you're casting a Gristle Brand so that my Dragon's Rage Channeler attacks into it. I have no idea what's happening. I'm not gonna search. Yeah, looks like they just found the tendrils and are killing me. One turn too slow. Yeah. All right. All right. Welcome back. We are here for round 2. Got a little lucky to lose round 1 to Reanimator, which I think is probably a good matchup. Just given the sheer amount of interaction we play, plus the fact that Ragavan can sometimes steal their reanimation spells and just win the game off that. But anyway, we're here for round 2. We're on the play. Probably a keep. Portent will help us find our second mana source, and then Force will lose a card. Obviously, I have to shuffle these. I guess it wasn't obvious. Like, I could have drawn the Portent plus one of the creatures, and then the next Portent would see 2 new cards, basically. I'm going to Wasteland them. If your Eldrazi opponent plays a 2-mana land and doesn't do anything, it's usually a good idea to Wasteland them. Also, having Murktide just means that you want to change resources. Chalice I don't care about. I don't even have ones in my hand, and then I have an answer to it in the form of Teferi. I'm gonna fetch. I'm actually gonna plus this. I get punished by like Cavern of Souls, Spirit Guide, Reality Smasher. About it though. This I'm going to Daze. I'm gonna Daze this because I want to balance the Chalice with Teferi. Probably shuffle these. Probably shuffle this too. I think I just want like Forest, Wasteland, another Murktide perhaps. Chalice is fine. Soon I will have an answer to that in the form of Teferi. Do I care? Not really. I'm gonna play Murktide, and it will be greater than all. I'll play this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will just, since there's no more instance to get rid of, I'm just going to tap the extra mana. Rashad import? No, I don't know what's happening. I thought this was Eldrazi. Clearly not. You're just supposed to say okay to this. Yeah. So it looks like they're more prison-y than they are Eldrazi. I'm gonna force that. Oh, I should have just dazed it. What am I doing? Didn't matter. Like, it probably wouldn't have mattered, but obviously just playing this is better. So, like I said, they are more prison-y, so I think I want removal and bounce. Artifacts. I feel like they're gonna have trouble beating a Court of Cunning. I'm gonna play Narset just to find more interaction. Plus the set of Court of Cunnings. And what to cut. I'm gonna trim 1 swords. And trim the Portents. I think that those aren't great. Counterbalance is gonna struggle to counter anything. I'll get rid of the Mishra's Bauble just because they play like Tarn, I'm guessing, and so that card will just be shut off if I draw it at the wrong time. Then maybe I cut like a single predict. That's the card I'm trying to test. So that seems bad. Still want the Dazes on the draw because I think shutting down their early mana is like important. Definitely want all these cards. Maybe I trim the second swords. I'm worried about Thought Not Seer. Could be a second, could be a Ragavan on the draw. But they're, thing is, it's like all their cards suck, so like stealing them isn't good. It's just a mana guy. Alright, I'm gonna trim 1. It could be bad, but like none of their cards are really things I would want to cast except for potentially Karn. To grab the Bauble from the sideboard. See, that's some 5-head thinking. This is a keep. That's also fine. It only shuts off Murktide Regent. I like low-key want to get a Plateau because I draw these swords, but I have the Daze, so I can't do it. I'm sorry, I failed all you Plateau gamers out there. It's fine, it's fine. We'll draw another land, we'll fetch a Plateau. Worry not, my children. Yeah, I gotta force that. I'm gonna pitch the Daze because I plan to cast the Expressive next turn off the treasure, and there's some chance that Daze isn't any good. Manifold Key. Well, eventually I can make my Ragavan unblockable. I decide to cast that. So I think the Murktide is what we're not going to keep. So this goes to hand. This goes to bottom of library. This gets exiled. We play this. And then I will get it. And you know what? I'm going to play this Manifold Key. Who knows? Who knows if making this 2 points unblockable is what seals the deal. They are at 14 and have 2 tombs in play, so like it's not inconceivable. No! I could Daze it to get a hit in with Rag. I kind of don't mind that. So I'm making basically the Daze is worth 2 damage and a treasure token. And I think the answer is yes. Just because we're getting to the point where it's not going to be a useful card soon. Little rough that Swords is giving them life, but you know what? Took the Abrade. Completely understandable. Force is a great pickup for obvious reasons. Wastes. I will Brainstorm end step if I'm allowed. It sucks because like, well, will I even do that? I have to Brainstorm now. Yeah, I'm gonna Brainstorm now because if I find a blue card, then I can pitch that and then predict to get card advantage. Um, only in Flooded Strand. Happy I took out one Ragavan. That's awkward, but I definitely prefer them doing that to Ooh. And I'm gonna dash this. Because the treasure replaces itself. Because this is a well-designed card. Little short. All right, little short. And getting the 2 damage in is definitely relevant with the Ancient Tombs in play. If I wanted to play on Dismember, I should have wasted the Urborg. That's actually kind of bad. Yeah. I'm willing to admit that was foolish on my part. Like, if that's just a card I'm worried about. It wasn't on my radar, but I did see it in game 1, so it probably should have been. Yeah, sure, man. Hello. Oh, I can even. Oh my god, I have so much colorless mana. Impressive. And now one Ancient Tomb's turned off. Yeah. All right. So a small misstep there with the Wasteland. Luckily, it didn't affect the outcome of the match. So we are 1-1. I'll be back for the final round. All right. We are here for round 3. On the draw. Missing white mana, but you know, we have enough cantrips. I think we're fine. Hopefully, we're not playing against anything too unfair. A lot of swamp gamers today. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh, okay. I think I know what's happening. I'm gonna cast this and look at my top card. Because if it's good, I'm gonna Portent the opponent. Dragon's Rage Channeler. I think that one's good enough. I'm gonna Portent them. Make sure their hand doesn't get good. Wow. I guess I just have to make them shuffle those, right? Like the castle just draws them cards and everything else ruins me. Yeah. I'm gonna have them shuffle that. Flying each other rogue. You know what? I'm gonna let this one go. Well, I think I'm gonna play this. Yeah, I could Brainstorm, but I think it's better to just like. I don't have any lands in hand. Also, it's interesting. Am I supposed to counter this? I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna Brainstorm and try to find white mana. There's the white mana. So I will Brainstorm just because I want to get rid of this Wasteland. And then I think I'm gonna get a little bit greedy and get rid of this. I can get the Tundra. If they draw exactly Wasteland, I get punished. But in general, the Daze will be enough to get, you know. So I could just let this resolve and ending it. I could just Daze it and then play. I could let it resolve, play Murktide, and then next turn ending it as well. No, that seems bad. I'm just gonna Daze it. Daze it, ending this. And then the turn after, I'll play a threat. I'm actually not going to dash the rag. Okay. This is kind of free because the treasure will just cast Murktide. Same in good shape. Ah, I'm one black mana off. Dang it. I think I'll be okay, though. Yeah, the Mox Diamond pass. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like that line. It's just me. But you're getting rid of a lot for not much gain there. But what do I know? So again, this is kind of a nonsense deck, so I want ways to deal with artifacts and enchantments. I want ways to bounce permanents. It looks like they're playing like creatures and stuff. I don't know. I wish I knew what was happening so I could tell you. If I knew, I would tell you, I promise. This is probably good enough. Like, I feel like the way my deck is set up is probably good against them. Got one rag on the draw. I'm gonna cut the counterbalance again. They play mostly twos, it looks like. They're putting in the Null Rod, but I think just hitting the Mox Diamonds isn't good enough. This probably has to be fine. RCDs. Certainly we would be better as predict in this instance, but we don't even know if Dragon's Rage is going to stick around. There's certainly some push and pull, you know. They both have their moments where Expressive is better when you don't have as much going on. You know, you don't have this going, you don't have cantrips going. Predict is better when it's like more sleek and compact, where it's just like you have this in play, and it, sure. I feel like I'm getting lilied. Davrio. I see. What am I getting rid of? Probably just a land. Yeah. I'll get Volk. So yeah, predict is definitely more like sleek with your turn, where it's just like, you know, tap 2 mana, get your card advantage. Whereas Expressive generally needs you like to have a land drop that you haven't played yet for turn, or to know like that you're gonna hit a 1. I'm going to put this into my graveyard just because I'm kind of close to turning on Delirium. So I suppose the Daze is an instant anyway. But, you know, if I draw into Force of Will, I'll feel much better about myself. An interesting one. That's the swamp we knew about. They're gonna make us discard a card. It's like the issue here. We could get rid of Ponder. Seems like okay to get rid of. Yeah, I want a threat because they mulligan to a bunch, so I just want to be able to kill them quickly. Against the double swamp start, I think we're fine bidding that one. I'm gonna play this. No, sorry. I thought I was passing the turn. If I was gonna pass the turn, I would play this to play around Wasteland, but obviously I'm playing out my 3/3. My 1-mana 3/3 that flies and scries. Flies and scries. And it's better than scrying. It's not even scrying. Sure. I'm just gonna kill this and then next turn I'll expressive. I'm gonna surveil one land to the graveyard. If there's another land, I'm gonna put that on top in case my hand gets discarded. I would have kept another land though, just because it could be useful. Alright, game's over. And now obviously I will keep land on top. I see one. So I guess to push through a threat, we can put this in our hand and like we don't need the Murktide anymore. Like if they play like one of those 1/1 creatures or whatever, you can just kill it, get on with your life. We've got a reader. Alright, search your library for swamp field, put your hand shovel. Target creature gets where X is the number of swamps you control. So it kills a thing. How much left? It starts with 3, so if it just kills my thing. Whatever. I don't think that's worth spewing a brainstorm over. The fact that it has to kill itself means I'm super fine with it. Got another expressive in the works, so. I'm gonna put this to my graveyard. I think on 4 mana, Daze has lost its value. I guess this in hand, this on the bottom. I'm gonna play this one. Plateau. I've done you well, Plateau gamers. Oh, I could have played out the DRC. I've just kind of mentally checked out. The game's over. Okay. Yeah, weird deck. Kind of Delver's built to beat up on. these wonky decks. So yeah, those were the games. Don't really know too much to say. I will be back with the end of set review. Alright, so I've decided to include a bonus round because those games were fast and not particularly emblematic of the metagame. My opponent's playing 61 cards, so this might be short-lived. But we'll see where this goes. I suppose I am not without saying here. Actually going to bauble the opponent to know what I should be doing with my turn. Hopefully. Savannah, okay. So I'll just play out the rag. Savannah usually implies something a little bit more fair. So I feel comfortable not needing to ponder it. That's fine. So I could play the counterbalance. I could dash Ragavan. I could play. Right? I think I'm just gonna play the counterbalance. You know, we have a lot of ones. This Force of Will can protect us. Uh, gonna counter this. I just don't want them to get ahead while I'm stumbling. It was kind of the perfects, huh? Because I don't have to shuffle to play the rag. And then I can potentially well, Wasteland's really bad now because I get to get treasure tokens. So we'll see what we hit first. Swords. Well, it's nice that they don't have the swords. I'm gonna do this. And then next turn we can cast Expressive. We have the island to hit, like it's guaranteed hit. Hopefully we don't need it, obviously, but you know, whatever. That's fine. Guess I'm not fully sure what's going on over there. Oh, they're banned of some sort with exploration though. That just doesn't make me. This is kind of the power of counterbalance, where you know, even if it wasn't countering the spell there, it's still already traded 1 for 1 with the expiration, and then it's forcing the opponent to brainstorm at an inopportune time. That's good. Okay, so I think I put the predict in hand and play the land for turn. And this allows me to cast predict. Predict. This goes on bottom. Obviously, if they have Uro here, it's a little rough. But I don't quite know what's happening. Ooh, got that blind flip. That blind flippy. All right, I am going to predict. I know Dragon's Rage is a good card to draw, but this gives me a chance to blind flip a 2, or draw blue card plus more card advantage. Worst comes to worst, I can just Daze this. Scalding Tarn revealed. That's really awkward. Well, I will Daze it. So Counterbalance did counter 2 cards, which is nice. However, the cards in question were 2 explorations, which is not necessarily what I'm looking for. And I am a little bit land flooded right now. But I suppose if they're bringing back a bunch of Wastelands. Okay. I'm going to shuffle away that Wasteland. They can just cast Loam again and hit whatever I hit. Ugh. I'm going to do this. Do I do this or do I hit the blue source? I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll do this. If they want to remove things, I have to waste time doing that. Yeah, that's really frustrating. I feel like I did a good job of like grinding out card advantage against the opponent, but they just kind of top deck life from the loam. So I'll Brainstorm. I could counter this. I could let them Wasteland me and then just play Murktide and then like force. Force the next play. I kind of like that better. Like, just force the Swords of Plowshares. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick a fight over the Murktide. Good enough. If I get to untap, and the Brainstorm is good. Now I don't have any more fetchable white sources. Not that I have a fetch land anyway. But the Swords is still nice as a 1 to put on top with the Brainstorm. I need to counter a Swords. Um, that one's got to be fine, right? Tabernacle. Awkward. Sort of. Oh, what I was supposed to do was Brainstorm and Ensep, so I could put a 1 on top. Maybe. It's possible. It's bad if I don't, like, draw a blue card to pair with the Force, whereas I can still blind flip a random one. Who knows? Nice, okay. Didn't matter. Murktide got there. Their deck is weird. But it's a blue deck, so I feel better. Well, it's not really that blue, huh? It's really mostly green, white, and you're splashing blue for Brainstorm. Really unsure of like what cards are any good. I'm gonna bring in the Surgicals because they're a loam deck. And I'm gonna bring in the Court of Cunning and the Narset. And I guess a Submerge. And one a singleton Pyroblast. Just one. Just one. I'm gonna trim on some swords. I'm gonna trim on a Portent. I've been trimming Portent a lot, but it's definitely just like that type of fluffy card that you can get rid of. I think I want both the endings. They showed us Sylvan Library. I'm trim a Daze, especially on the draw. I think I want the Wasteland. They showed us some special lands, basically. I want the Teferi. I'm gonna cut the Teferi. I think Narset's a little bit better. Partially because our white mana is under attack because of the Wastelands. Well, this plays a lot of channelers. We will find out if that's good or bad. Looks like there's a Swords of Plowshares in my future. No? I don't know what's in my future. Oh, they have Carpet. Is that worth forcing? Or is that not worth forcing? I feel like they're on 6. I think I'm just gonna force this. Ah, dang it. And I'm not gonna give them the option of what land to get rid of. I'm just gonna... And I know that kind of sucks where it's like, oh, you have this white card in hand. Why didn't you fetch Plateau? But it's like, then they could choose to cut me off blue mana, and that might be even worse. So in this very specific instance, Trent and others were looking worse than Delver because I can't get to Delirium. I do think on the whole it's a good deal better as a card. Well, I think I just put the first two surveils into my graveyard almost no matter what they are. Because, like, I don't get to keep anything here. So I just want to get myself, like, further to Delirium, basically. Tundra's gone, but that's okay. So again, I'm just looking for Delirium here. Counts. And I'm just looking for a blue card. They can Miracle Terminus here. Obviously, the game just ends. They couldn't. Let's go. So what do I put back? That's kind of like the question, right? Because like I potentially want all these cards, right? Because they're escaping our own next turn, so I want to have an answer to that. Um, Maybe I just do force blue card plus Narset and like call it a day. Yeah, so I'll force this. Oh, okay. Sure. Oh, I will play the Narset. I have chump blockers, plenty of them, so that's fine. The Tundra's back in the deck. Do I want that instead of the Plateau? No, I guess I have double blue, so I'll just get double red as well. Now, I don't want to hit exactly Delirium. I guess what I'm kind of looking for is like an answer to the Endurance or the Uro. So the Brainstorm counts. You know, Swords is pretty reasonable. I'm going to do this first. I want the iteration. I kind of do. Yeah, I'm going to take the iteration, go to main phase 2. Yeah, I'll top. Not the most ideal card, but better than nothing. Force in hand. Daze on bottom of library. And now I can just like double block a card. Either or. Probably the Endurance. Or I could double block the Uro. I could double block the Uro and Swords the Endurance. I kind of like that better. Brainstorm, perfect. And then just... They likely have Dryad Arbor to fetch, which kind of sucks, but like... Fine. We'll figure it out. We'll draw like, you know, Ragavan, not Rag, but Wasteland or Swords or things of this nature. Awkward. So this doesn't actually do anything because of the Karakas, but if I find Wasteland, it could do something down the road. I'm going to, for that reason, leave it. Ugh, gross. So now I'm just going to submerge the Dryad Arbor and then Surgical the Uro. Oh, they play a Singleton Uro. Good God. All right, well. They have some decent cards, a lot of bad cards. Okay. Crazy game. That's not a good card. Also, I kind of want to see how good the Narset is while we're going through. What is it? It stops Brainstorm and it stops the 1-0. But it's still card advantage, so it's probably worth it. Obviously, this card doesn't do anything yet, but I do think that I am hoping that one day we'll find an answer. They do play 4 swords. I actually think I'm going to wait on this Murktide until I draw a blue card. All right, good enough. Oh, you know what? I could have dashed Ragavan. And in fact should have. Because they'd have to use the Karakas twice, and it just taps them out of a mana for turn. I'm actually surprised they didn't fetch the Dryad Arbor to try and kill the Narset. I'm gonna wait for these Ragavans to go into hand before I brainstorm them away. Okay. Oh. They have 4 schools in their deck? No, right? There's no way, because they're 2. Okay. Well, got a little lucky there. Their deck seems to top deck reasonably well, but I guess ours does too. But yeah, I don't know. That was the bonus round. Hope you enjoyed, and now I will actually be back with the end of set review. Okay, so welcome back to the end of set review. I feel the deck performed pretty well. As expected, we're just playing the suite of the best cards in the format right now, and then we can go into kind of our special cards a little bit. I actually kind of liked the Counterbalance and the Teferi. I thought that they helped you attack from different angles and made you hard to play around. Just Counterbalance, having so many blind hits on one is pretty good to protect your threats. And then Teferi kind of answering things that the deck can normally struggle to answer, I kind of liked a lot. The one thing I wasn't sure about or didn't feel so comfortable with was the mana base, specifically only having two fetchable white sources. It's very difficult because I think you want the one basic just to, like in Wasteland mirror matches, be able to fetch and ponder or Portent and like hit your second land drop and be able to play the game. But I don't really want to be cutting red sources because I want a lot of red sources. But I also don't want to be playing multiple plateaus because I'm a Daze deck. So that is a difficult kind of conundrum to crack. So it might just be like I bite the bullet, cut a fetch for another Tundra, and call it a day and say like, okay, well, 2% of the time I'm not gonna have red mana when I would have otherwise, and see how bad that affects the deck. The split between predict and expressive, honestly, I kind of like splitting it. Like, there's no clear definition for there's no clear like one is always better than the other one, and the fact that they, if you ever draw both, you can pick the one that works best for you at the time is kind of nice. And expressive actually does make predict a little better, I feel, because it lets you hit your land drops and find cantrips for your predict. So I actually really do like the split. I don't think it's like a definitive like, oh, one is better than the other, especially when you add counterbalance into your deck, and portent, because you can portent the opponent and predict away their good card and have them draw bad cards, and, etc. So yeah, a really fun list. I do actually enjoy a lot like these tempo style decks. I think they're just very fun to play, and I hope you enjoyed watching. See y'all later. Bye.